really one of the best, if not the best auto company stock I'd buy in the world.
You had a time that you were with Uber, and that's something people are still waiting on for Uber as well.
Uber sold their self-driving car division, so they decided it was too expensive. And I think that was the right decision because it cost billions and billions of dollars for technology that's 5-10 years away at the time.
So Tesla's former full self-driving competitor goes on TV and says that it was the right decision for them to not compete against Tesla. That sounds pretty good to me. And on top of that, he says he is buying Tesla stock himself. I don't know all that much about this guy, but he sounds smart so far.
I do hope that what happens is the self-driving car technology that Elon's building, I do hope actually other companies develop it like Toyota, GM, or Ford, and then those cars could sit inside the Uber network. So you can call a car and it may be driven by a human driver or a non-human driver. And I think that's sort of the future. It's a far away future, but it's a future. And I think Uber's actually pretty well positioned not to develop the technology, but to use it.
If Ford and GM do end up in Uber's network with full self-driving cars, I bet that they will be using Tesla's full self-driving technology. Unless they are just relying on LiDAR with HD maps in very limited areas of each city.
There are a lot of Tesla bears out there too who think they're not going to be making chips, they're not really a battery company. But you know, people are lined up for the Cybertruck, for everything that Tesla puts out there, and they see Elon Musk as a visionary. I mean, what's your final thought here? What do you say to the bears?
Look, what I say to the bears is every time this company has had their obituary written or their valuation sort of temporarily hit, they've come back because of all these opportunities that were the seeds have been planted for a long time. So and in no time, they become the biggest car company in the world. And I say that to the bears, you're just going to get squeezed at some point. You may be right, and maybe you have to time your short sales and so on. But I'd be wary of shorting Tesla.
Exercise, get plenty of sleep, eat healthy, take athletic greens, and most importantly, do not short Tesla stock. That's my recipe for a good life.
We've had multiple downgrades. I mean, today we had Goldman Sachs, you know, they moved to a neutral from a buy. And moving that target, though, a lot of them are moving their target higher because they have to get closer to the current price. The new target's 248, up from 185 in this particular case. But Goldman is one of several names that are cutting their thoughts here on Tesla. What say you?
Well, let's take this in context. While Tesla's down 6% over the last week, it's still up 23% for the month, in the last 30 days. So a little volatility at the end here as it relates to some of these new earnings or price projections kind of makes some sense.
The stock market on average is only supposed to go up 10% per year, not per month. Per year. We are up more than that already this month. This is crazy. Although, admittedly, we were really low before. I would like Tesla stock to drop a little lower and for Tesla stock to stay there for a little while. And I would like to accumulate a whole bunch more of Tesla stock at dirt cheap prices, just like I did back in December. That was pretty nice. I hope that currently we are going through one of these consolidation phases instead of one of these rallies, because I want to keep accumulating.
Cathie Wood's been selling out a little bit. You have this quarter end phenomenon where people are taking profits. So I don't know if this is a sort of material thing, but I will say the things to think about with Tesla are the Chinese manufacturing of EVs is growing dramatically. If you look at those numbers and the exports that's going to represent to other Asian countries, that is a threat to Tesla. But I think on the other side, what you've got to consider with Tesla is Ford and GM agreed to use their charging standard, Cybertruck coming soon. There's a lot of tailwinds for Tesla, too, in the future, but it's hard with the China overhang.
Many are underestimating Tesla, but also Tesla has not started advertising yet, although Tesla has been uploading some new videos on Tesla's website. For example, the Model Y page has just been updated. Now we have this new video playing if you go to Tesla's website and you choose the Model Y. And I think these little clips will definitely make the conversion rate higher, helping Tesla sell more vehicles. And Tesla doing paid advertising likely is going to create a lot of demand, pushing Tesla's prices higher or creating a backlog, which would then increase the margins and increase earnings probably too, which would then push the stock price higher up. Also, some good news here. Tesla added the white seats back to the configurator for the Model Y all-wheel drive in the US. That option was taken down a few weeks ago.
I mean, they're all talking about the difficult environment for new vehicles, and that's part of the issue. It's not that Tesla's a terrible company. It's also just the current environment. If you were to play devil's advocate, what might they be saying when they're making these cuts? And can those be turned around? I mean, if you said the environment, then hey, the environment might improve.
Yeah, look, if I were to speculate, I would say, look, we are in a high interest rate environment. People do take loans out to buy cars, 5-year loans, and those lines are higher than they've been. And that environment is one thing. The other thing is the competitive environment. It is true that every auto manufacturer, especially after the Inflation Reduction Act, is doubling, tripling, quadrupling down in EVs, and that market's going to get crowded. So those things are legit worries that Goldman Sachs or anyone else can have. But Tesla has always out-innovated whenever in a crunch. So you have to, believe in the optimism. I think there's optimism built into the stock price already. But add that now to the charging kind of compact that they had across the U.S., the Inflation Reduction Act subsidies that they're going to get, and some of the new products they have. And I still think it's really one of the best, if not the best auto company stock I'd buy in the world.
Indeed, innovation over at Tesla just does not stop. And that is a major reason why I only own Tesla stock in my stock portfolio. But also, I need to show you this from Larry. He put together this chart right here based on Tesla's data. And you can see here, Tesla safety record, millions of miles driven per accident. And these are Teslas without autopilot. As you can see, this remained pretty much the same throughout the last few years, but there's one huge difference, and that is Tesla on autopilot. Data which sometimes it does go down a little bit, as you can see here, but when we adjust for seasons, for example, this one is Q4, we would need to compare it to Q4, and as we can see, that is indeed still higher. So it's generally going up. There's clear progress being made here. And once Tesla scales Dojo, the supercomputer, maybe that progress is going to accelerate significantly.
I mean, so the one that I talked about, the environment, I mean, that was more towards Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley was talking more about the stiff competition, and that is in fact growing. And there are others who would say that Tesla's just still the clear leader, long and far away the leader. In fact, making new deals of all kinds, including supercharger deals.
Right. Yes. And remember, Chevy Bolt, which was their EV, came out in 2016. So they've had competition for a long time. But it is true, Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley are right that the environment is absolutely getting more competitive. But the thing to note, and look at the California law that's banning combustible engines, the market for EV is growing incredibly fast because of all these state and country mandates about how many EVs you have to have. So Tesla will now be playing in a world where the whole world is transitioning to EV. Yes, they'll have more competition, but are they going to be able to sell more cars? I think yes.
Remember, guys, the competition is coming to charge their vehicles at Tesla superchargers.
There is no company that's further along in self-driving cars besides Tesla. And Waymo, which is part of Google, is just a software. They don't build cars. So Elon's building the full stack. And he's been doing this for a long time, collecting data, using AI to process that data and help the car make decisions. And that's only going to get better with all these new technologies that are coming out in AI. So, the notion that there are going to be a whole bunch of self-driving Teslas out there creating a network that like Uber has, where you can call a car, is really becoming more and more of a reality than it ever was. And he is far and away the leader in that game with Tesla.
As a former competitor to Tesla's full self-driving, I think he probably has a little bit of insight in terms of understanding what it takes to solve full self-driving and how hopeless it really is for anyone to try it unless you're already winning, in terms of how far ahead you are of everyone else. Like Elon likes to say, you couldn't see who is in the second place when it comes to full self-driving, even with a telescope. And YouTube wants you to watch this video next, but if you haven't seen or finished watching this Elon Musk interview yet, you may want to watch this one first. My name is Matt Postius. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.